뭐 게시판이건 뉴스건 책이건
네.
계속해서 꾸준히 시계열을 바라보시면 이때는 패턴이 보이기 시작합니다.
Okay. So I guess one of the daily habits or efforts that you need to make to sharpen your sense of the times, to be able to read the context of the times, is to constantly look at the same form of content. For example, whether it be news or bulletin, I guess, content, whatnot. Continue looking at the same type of information. Try comparing it with the past. So when you're reading news every day, think about how it has changed from three years ago, for example. And so keep, I guess, analyzing the difference and keep looking at them every day and make it a habit. Well, I think a concern many people have is being burned out or is burnout, trying to keep up with the times. It feels really overwhelming, pressuring, exhausting. So how can we manage that in a healthy way?
지금 두 가지 어려움이 생기는 게 첫 번째는 전 세계의 뉴스를 다 볼 수 있는 거죠. 우리 아리랑 TV를 전 세계에서 보실 수 있잖아요. 그러다 보니까 필요한 정보인데 어쩌면 나한테 필요 없을 수도 있는 정보를 너무 많이 과잉 섭취하면서 생기는 피로감이 좀 생길 수가 있고요. 두 번째는 뭐냐면 이게 나의 어떤 본진과 관련있지 않는 정보에도 나도 모르게 탐닉하는 경우가 생기거든요. 그러니까 이제 정보가 너무 많이 들어오기 시작하는 거예요. 그래서 해야 될 일은 뭐냐면 이게 나한테 얼마만큼 의미 있는 정보인지를 판단하는 필터를 먼저 좀 놓아야 됩니다. 그리고 AI가 오면 그 친구가 나한테 엄청나게 많은 일을 해주니까 나도 모르게 더 많은 일을 하고 싶어지거든요. 근데 양의 문제는 이제 끝나가고 있는 것 같아요. 그래서 좀 더 깊어지고 그다음에 좀 더 숙고해서 AI가 할 수 없는 부분에 사고를 해야 되기 때문에 이제는 정말 내가 관심 있는 분야를 깊게 가려는 노력들을 좀 해야 될 것 같아요.
Okay. So because we're living in an era where we're flooded with new information every day, we tend to consume information that's not really necessary to us. And because AI selects all these different data and information for us to consume, we want to consume more. But you have to be able to select only the ones that has value for you. And so you have to really clarify what you're interested in and what information really matters to you. 말씀 들어보니까 저도 사실 요즘 이제 정보가 워낙 많다 보니까 그리고 이 방송도 하려면 이 정보도 알아야 되고 저것도 알아야 되고 트렌드도 좀 알고 있어야 되고 근데 그러다 보니까 내가 좋아하던 거는 뭐더라? 뭔가 이 정보에만 계속 빠지는 것 같고 머리가 너무 아프더라고요. 근데 이 시점에서 작가님의 말씀을 듣게 돼서 생각이 드는 게 내가 진짜 관심 있는 게 뭐고 내 중심 가치가 뭔지를 딱 알고 있으면 아무리 정보가 넘쳐나도 내가 좀 선택적으로 이거를 소비를 하고 그 중심을 잃지 않는 소비자이자 또 생산자도 될 수 있지 않을까 하는 생각이 좀 드네요.
마샤 맥루란 선생님께서 1960년대 지구촌이 올 거다라고 말씀하셨는데 정말로 우린 매일같이 전 세계 뉴스를 접하고 있잖아요. 심지어 각자가 남긴 일상의 기록까지도 볼 수 있을 만큼 연결되어 있는데 그러다 보니까 필연적으로 자연스럽게 우리는 항진대에 있는 거예요. 근데 이제는 약간 좀 정돈해서 전체를 몰아야 되는 건 아니지만 다 알아야 되는 것도 아니니까 어느 정도의 세상을 내가 상정하고 바라볼지에 대한 것들을 좀 정의해 볼 필요가 있습니다.
Okay. So back in 1960, this one person said I guess the Earth will come or the global village. Okay,
Yeah.
the global village will come. And like that, I guess, forecast, we're currently living in a world we're hyper-connected, We're able to see everyday lives of people around the world every day very easily. But it's not that you have to consume or know all these information. So know how to be selective and know how to let go of some information as well. All right, author Song. So today we talked about creating your own narrative, having that sharp sense of being able to read the context in the world. But you'll be joining us next week as well, right? So hope to hear some more insightful knowledge and information from you next week as well then.
감사합니다.
네, thank you very much. All right, so next week we'll continue talking about life planning, but we will advance to the next level from the intermediate level. Well, before we let you go, then I have a personal question. Like I said earlier, I get overwhelmed by the flood of information that I receive every day on social media, newspapers, and even through this program too. But when we talk about reading the context of the times, is that different from simply keeping up with the current trends like popular memes today?
굉장히 소중한 우리 사회의 압축된 정보의 전달 방식이에요. 예전에도 있었어요. 그 사자성어 같은 것들. 예전에 고사로부터 우리 인생에 소중했던 어떤 교훈들을 전달하는 방식인데 현대화되고 일정한 그룹의 사람들 사이에 교류되면서 압축된 정보의 어떤 하나하나의 아이템들로 만들어진 것들이 밈이거든요. 그래서 문화사 쪽으로도 우리의 삶을 바라보는 좋은 창구이기 때문에 바라보는 건 좋은데요. 이제 이게 그것만 바라보면 세상을 좀 단편적으로 이해할 수 있으니까 그게 나오게 된 어떤 이유나 맥락에 대한 것들을 한 번 더 고민해보고 그다음에 그런 것들이 쌓여진 지금 시대의 변화에 필요한 동인들을 이해하게 해보면 자연스럽게 전체를 바라볼 수 있어요. 그래서 트렌드나 밈을 보는 것도 너무 소중한 시대적인 방법인데 그것만으로 해서는 안 된다. 그 이상에 대한 저술과 그다음에 다양한 형태의 어떤 문헌들을 또 바라보셔야 됩니다.
Okay. All right. Well, keeping up with popular memes and trends is very important for reading the, I guess, context of the times because they are a compressed form of the information that we have today. But that itself isn't enough. You have to look at where those memes come from, the original text, and the background information of that is also very important to understand in order to keep up with the changing times and in order to read the context of the times better. Okay, last but not least, I'd like you to give our listeners and myself a little bit of a homework, small action that we can take. For
네.
example,
내 고민 중에서 시대적인 문제가 혹시 있을지를 한번 고민해 보는 게 굉장히 큰 지향점을 정할 때 소중한 인풋이 되거든요. 그래서 나의 고민 중에서 시대적인 문제 세 가지를 한번 찾아보시기 바랍니다.
Okay, so for you listeners and myself as well, let's try and think about the problems of our times, 3 of them, before next week's class. All right, I'll reflect on that after the show, and I hope you do that too. Thank you once again, author Song, and I'll see you again next week.
고맙습니다. 다음 주에 뵙겠습니다.
All right, thank you. So that was author Song Ki-ryung, and we've been talking about life planning, how to create your own narrative or story in this changing world. Do join us again tomorrow for more culture to crunch on. And here's our last song. It's Rainbow by Kyuhyun. Bye-bye. Keep crunching.
언제였던 걸까 해맑은 미소가 사라진 건 어디 my rainbow. 쫓으려 할수록 한 발 멀어져서 바래지던 all the colors. But don't be afraid. 가장 소중한 건 내 안에 있어. 기억을 거슬러 올라 잃어버린 나를 되찾아가. On my rainbow. 흘린 한 방울 눈물도 버린 희망도 그 자리에 남아. Deep inside 푸르던 짧은 계절과 성급히 흐르던 시간 숨차게 달려온 여긴 나의 길그 위로 먼지 쌓여 모든 날들이 눈부시게 남아. Stay in my mind. 가장 끝자락의 시작 잃어버린 나를 다시 만나 일어나갈 뿐. Always in my mind. I've been waiting for my new restart. 기억의 거슬러 올라 버린 희망도 그 자리에 남아. Deep inside my rainbow. My rainbow.
From breaking news in South Korea to stories from around the world, we're here to bring you the news that matters.
Truth, clarity, and impartiality. And that's what we uphold in a fast-changing world.
We go beyond the headlines, offering depth, context, and perspective.
This isn't just news, it's our commitment. News you trust. Arirang News.
drawing more fans from all over the world.
Local consumer prices continue to hover at the 2% success rate in April.
Turning to robots to allow the visually impaired the chance to better indulge in cultural experiences, like the number of hybrid cars are registered in South Korea has surpassed 2 million with its locally developed Yuri rocket.
Arirang.
Introducing Korean broadcast content that you won't be able to stop watching. For weary modern souls, Dr. Romantic, the quirky genius doctor of Puldam Hospital, prescribes heartwarming tales of humanity. A couple together for 7 years sees their rose-tinted glasses shatter. Can they keep their relationship alive? Discover the raw stories of youth, work, and love. Beyond what social media can show, experience the vibrant Korea through its hidden gems. Mama, the ultimate K-pop festival for global fans. Find your star in a feast of trendy music and electrifying performances. Now, the whole world enjoys it together.
South Korea's Trade Minister Yo Han-gu is currently in Washington, D.C. to meet with senior trade officials. Upon arrival in the U.S., Yo told reporters that the recent data breach at Coupang must be separated from trade or diplomatic issues. North Korea is calling for an explanation from South Korea after accusing the South of flying drones into its airspace. Seoul, however, has denied the claims, saying that no military drones were flown on the dates cited by the North. South Korea's ruling Democratic Party has elected a new floor leader. Three-term lawmaker Han Byung-do won the closely contested race and vowed to push forward key reform and livelihood bills at speed while supporting the success of the Lee administration. Hello and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. South Korea's Trade Minister Yo Han-gu arrived in Washington on Sunday to address growing American concerns over actions taken by Seoul against Coupang and online platform regulations. Our Park Jun-an starts us off.
South Korea's Trade Minister Yo Han-gu, who is currently in the United States, said Sunday that the massive data breach at Coupang should be separated from trade or diplomatic issues. He added that the core problem lies in the large-scale personal information leak at Coupang and the company's inadequate response.
The core issue is the massive data breach at Coupang and the inadequate response that followed. Since the matter is being handled impartially and fairly, it should be addressed separately from trade or diplomatic issues.
Speaking to reporters upon arrival at Washington Dulles International Airport, Yo emphasized that the Korean government is not targeting or discriminating against any specific American company, including Coupang. Yo's visit comes amid ongoing U.S. concerns over Korea's digital barriers, including from the U.S. House Appropriations Committee and the Department of State. The U.S. Department of State late last year criticized a South Korean anti-disinformation bill, saying the amendment to the Network Act negatively impacts the business of U.S.-based online platforms and undermines free expression. The House Appropriations Committee warned in September that the Act on Promotion of Information and Communications Network Utilization and Information Protection, which was under review at the time, could amount to disparate treatment against American technology firms and could give China an advantage. To address the concerns, Yo said he will conduct extensive outreach during his visit, during meetings with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, key lawmakers, and industry groups to explain the Korean government's intent. Park Jun-an, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, North Korea is demanding an explanation from South Korea after claiming drones from the south violated its airspace, with Kim Yo-jong warning of consequences if the flights continue. Seoul denies any military involvement, saying it's investigating whether the drones were launched by civilians while pledging to avoid escalating tensions with Pyongyang. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
Kim Yo-jong, the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, is demanding an explanation from South Korea over what Pyongyang claims were drone incursions into its airspace. In a statement carried by North Korean state media on Sunday, Kim said drones flying from the Republic of Korea violated the North's sovereignty. Her comments came after South Korea's defense ministry denied that its military was responsible, saying the drones may have been launched by civilian groups. Kim welcomed that denial, but said Seoul must still explain what she called an actual drone that crossed into North Korean territory. She warned that any future flights, regardless of who launches them, would bring serious consequences. She also claimed video recovered from the drones showed sensitive North Korean sites, including a uranium mine, the Kaesong Industrial Complex, and border guard posts, which she said proves the drones came from the south. The comments come as North Korea's military claimed that a drone was detected on January 4th, flying north from Gangwon-do Island near Incheon and was forced down near Kaesong using an electronic warfare system. Pyongyang says the drone was carrying surveillance equipment. It also claims another drone flew from Paju in late September, crossed into North Korea, passed over Kaesong, and was brought down by an electronic attack system. The North says that the aircraft carried nearly 6 hours of video footage. Pyongyang also accused Seoul of hostile provocations while talking about dialogue and warned that such actions would not go unpunished. South Korea's defense ministry has rejected the claims, saying an initial investigation shows the drones were not operated by the South Korean military and that no military drones were flown on the dates cited. Defense Policy Chief Kim Hong-chul said authorities are now investigating whether the drones could have been operated by civilians. He added that Seoul has no intention of provoking North Korea and will continue efforts to reduce tensions and build trust between the two sides. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
South Korea's ruling Democratic Party is entering a new phase of leadership following controversies surrounding its former floor leader, as it looks to steady itself ahead of key legislative battles and upcoming local elections. Our Buniran has the details.
South Korea's ruling Democratic Party has elected a new floor leader and 3 new members of its Supreme Council, following an internal shakeup that triggered an early leadership vote. After a competitive race that went to a runoff, 3-term lawmaker Han Byung-do emerged as the new floor leader on Sunday, defeating fellow 3-term lawmaker Baek Hae-ryun in the final round of voting. Han will serve out the remainder of his term, which runs until May, though the party has left open the possibility of a short extension to cover the June local elections. The party held a by-election to fill the vacancy left by former floor leader Kim Byung-gi, who stepped down amid allegations involving political donations and internal misconduct. His resignation left the powerful parliamentary post vacant months before the end of its original term, forcing the party to move up the election. The timing makes the role especially significant. The new floor leader will steer the party through negotiations on high-profile special prosecutor bills, including probes related to religious groups and broader corruption allegations, while also preparing for the June 3rd local elections. In his acceptance speech, Han pledged to push forward key reform and livelihood bills at speed, while supporting the success of the Lee administration. He also signaled a dual-track approach towards the opposition, open to dialogue but firm against what he called obstructionist politics.
From this moment on, I will swiftly bring a year of turmoil under control and urgently move to end the insurrection, reform the prosecution and the judiciary, and improve people's livelihoods.
Alongside the floor leader vote, the Democratic Party also held a by-election to fill 3 vacant seats on its Supreme Council, left open by members stepping down to run in the local elections. Lawmakers Kang Duk-gu, Lee Sung-yun and Moon Jung-bok were elected, with results reflecting a closely watched balance between different factions within the party. With both parliamentary leadership and the Supreme Council reshaped, attention now turns to whether the Democratic Party can stabilize internal divisions and maintain momentum ahead of the June polls. 문혜련, Arirang News.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security says it will send hundreds more federal officers to Minnesota following mass protests over last week's fatal shooting of 37-year-old Renee Good by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem told Fox News on Sunday that the new deployments will take place over the next 2 days, adding to the roughly 2,000 federal officers already operating in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, in what the Department of Homeland Security calls its largest immigration enforcement operation ever. The move comes a day after tens of thousands of protesters marched through Minneapolis, and more than 1,000 rallies took place across the United States over the weekend against deportation policies and the killing of Good. As South Korea and the European Union look ahead to a more uncertain global landscape, cooperation between Seoul and Brussels takes on even more urgency across security, technology, and economic resilience. Our Oh Soo-young sat down with the EU ambassador to Korea to hear his outlook for the new year.
Seoul and Brussels face greater strategic challenges in 2026, rendering value-based cooperation more crucial than ever. That's according to Europe's top envoy in Seoul, Ambassador Ugo Astuto, speaking with Arirang News.
Well, I think it's absolutely essential that two like-minded democracies and advanced economies such as the EU and Korea work together. As I said earlier, we are facing headwinds in the international scene. So that's the moment where friends and partners need to come together. And we do. I'm glad to say we do.
A veteran European diplomat, Astuto took up his post in Seoul last year after holding senior Asia-Pacific roles at both the European External Action Service and Italy's Foreign Ministry. In his outlook for the new year, Astuto points first to security as the major common challenge ahead.
And when it comes to security interests, we're seeing boundaries are really blurring when it comes to common security interests for the Euro-Atlantic region and the Indo-Pacific region as well. And in terms of North Korea and Russia's military collaboration, how concerned are you and how far do you think it could potentially go?
Look, we are very concerned. This security nexus, which is getting stronger by the day. When you look at the support that North Korea has been offering to Russia and its aggression against Ukraine, we all know that North Korea is getting something in return: economic support, energy, foodstuff, and I sense military technology. We don't know how far Russia can go, but we all know that Russia doesn't have many scruples in that respect. So I think we have reasons to be concerned, and we have reason to try to monitor together this development and to try to mitigate the consequences, not just in the peninsula but worldwide. It's already the strategic concept, the NATO strategic concept of 2022.
He noted Seoul and Brussels are already strengthening their response.
We have a strategic partnership since a number of years, and we have a collaboration which is broad and broadening. Last year, actually in 2024, we signed a security and defense partnership. We are working on that to expand it, to cover a number of very relevant grounds, from cybersecurity, foreign information manipulation, interference. And we work together to uphold the multilateral system of international governance.
Shared concerns also extend to economic security. Korea and the EU have set up a working group on emerging economic issues.
Indeed, over the past few years, we have seen economic coercion becoming the norm rather than the exception. Most recently with rare earths, raw materials in general terms. Again, as advanced democracy, we must have reliable supply chains in place, and This means that we can work together at de-risking, for instance, making sure that we have a reliable network of suppliers in place when it comes to raw materials, to those essential items which will be key for the fourth industrial revolution, which are already proving key for the most innovative parts of our economies.
Astuto is working to tighten cooperation in strategic sectors, particularly technology and innovation. Given Korea's participation in the EU's €9.5 billion Horizon Research Programme.
And I'm really very happy to congratulate Korea for its joining as a full associate member. It's the first Asian country to do so. I think it's fair to say that particularly in the green and digital transition we can do much. These are the aspects which are most relevant for the transformation of our economies in the coming years. There are topics such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing.
Climate cooperation is another key sector for Astuto.
We see, based on most estimates, that we're not going to respect the targets set in Paris unless we all make collectively a genuine additional effort. And again, I think Korea and the European Union can be pioneers in that respect.
At a time of accelerating change, Astuto says the moment now calls for renewed momentum in cooperation.
We organized not so long ago in Brussels the fourth edition of the Indo-Pacific Forum. And I'm happy to say that Korea is one of the major participants of this gathering. It's about discussing how we can together foster respect for the UN Charter, first of all, but also development, connectivity, sustainable development, how to work together against climate change, against the challenge of pollution, of biodiversity loss. So quite a number of common challenges that we can address together. And all of this is relevant for the work of the team here and myself personally.
Based on strong frameworks and agreements, the ambassador says his mission in Seoul is to ensure that the Korea-EU partnership operates at its full potential. Seoul Arirang News.
Netflix mega hit movie K-pop Demon Hunters has won Best Original Song Motion Picture at the Golden Globes Awards. At the 83rd edition of the awards held in Los Angeles on Sunday local time, the film's official soundtrack, Golden, beat out competition from movies including Wicked for Good and Avatar, Fire and Ash. Accepting the award, singer-songwriter EJ dedicated the honor to people who have had doors closed on them and encouraged them never to give up. K-pop Demon Hunters is also nominated in 2 additional categories, Best Animated Film and Cinematic and Box Office Achievement, with the winners set to be announced.
This is The World Now, bringing you everything you need to know from around the globe. We begin in Iran, where activists say Iran's security crackdown on nationwide protests has killed at least 500 people. The activists warn the true death toll may be higher as authorities have shut down the internet and cut phone lines, making verification difficult. The U.S.-based human rights activist news agency said on Sunday that 490 protesters and 48 security force members are among the dead, and more than 10,000 people have been detained over the past 2 weeks of protests. Iran's government has not released an overall casualty figure. In Parliament, Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf warned that U.S. forces and Israel would become, quote, legitimate targets if America uses force to protect demonstrators. The protests began on December 28th after Iran's currency collapsed and have escalated into direct calls challenging Iran's theocracy. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned Cuba to, quote, make a deal before it's too late. Following the ouster of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela, U.S. forces are now seizing tankers to ensure no resources reach Cuba. Trump said on social media on Sunday that Cuba long lived off Venezuelan oil and money, but not anymore. And he declared there will be, quote, no more oil or money going to Cuba, zero. Cuba's President Miguel Diaz-Canel responded on X hours later, accusing Washington of turning everything into a business, quote, even human lives. Cuba also said 32 of its military personnel were killed during the American operation that captured Maduro, and it said its officers were in Caracas under a Cuba-Venezuela agreement. In Argentina, raging wildfires in Patagonia have destroyed nearly 12,000 hectares of scrubland and forest in the region's worst environmental disaster in 20 years. Authorities say the fire started almost a week ago and are now putting a power plant and a school at risk while also damaging rural properties. Officials have not confirmed the cause, but Chubut Province Governor Ignacio Torres says he suspects arson and has offered a 50 million peso reward for information leading to the culprits. Nearly 300 firefighters and 15 aircraft are currently battling the flames, but drought and strong winds continue to hamper containment efforts. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has erupted, sending lava across the summit area as lava fountains rose up to 50 feet. The U.S. Geological Survey reported a significant spike in volcanic tremors on Saturday, signaling a movement of magma underground. Geologists are now expecting a period of sustained high lava fountains expected to peak by Wednesday. While the lava currently remains contained within the summit caldera, authorities have issued an orange aviation code due to the unpredictable nature of the volcanic activity. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Those on the morning commute faced bitterly cold conditions with the feels-like temperatures in the capital close to minus 15 degrees Celsius, but highs will rise nicely to above freezing mark by the afternoon. However, snow or rain is forecast to affect the central regions mainly, beginning in the capital area before gradually spreading to the rest of the regions. Seoul could see less than 1 centimeter of light snowfall, but Gyeonggi-do could see 5 to 7 centimeters of somewhat heavy snowfall, so please take extra care while traveling. Sub-zero ground temperatures could make the roads icy. And this afternoon, Seoul gets up to 3 degrees Celsius. Gwangju, Busan both make it to 7 degrees under mostly sunny skies in many regions. Meanwhile, eastern parts of Korea are under dry weather advisory. Meanwhile, snow will taper off by early tomorrow, and this intense cold wave is forecast to ease by midweek.
That's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.
to set the facts straight. Get Korea right.
한반도에서 가장 먼저 아침이 시작되는 곳. 대한민국 최동단에 위치한 섬. 천연기념물 제336호로 지정된 자연유산. 이곳은 경상북도 울릉군 울릉읍 독도입니다. 그런데 일본이 대한민국 고유 영토인 독도를 일본 영토라며 일방적으로 주장하고 있어요. 그 때문에 독도와 관련된 잘못된 정보들이 퍼지고 있답니다. 안녕하세요. 저는 방크에서 활동하는 성혜승 연구원입니다. 방크는 1999년에 설립된 후 지속적으로 독도 바로 알리기 활동을 하고 있는데요. 지금부터 제가 독도에 대한 올바른 정보를 알려드리겠습니다. 독도는 역사적, 지리적, 국제법적으로 명백하게 대한민국 영토라고 할 수 있어요. 대한민국에 현존하는 가장 오래된 역사책인 삼국사기에 보면 독도는 신라 지증왕 13년, 그러니까 512년 전부터 한국 역사에 등장합니다. 대략 1500년 전부터 독도는 우리의 영토였던 거죠. 독도가 한국 땅이라는 역사적 증거는 이렇게 차고 넘쳐요.